I'm going to use this problem as an example of how to do headers and footers and section breaks and page breaks. So I'm going to go ahead and go File, Save As, and make sure that it's saved compatible to Word 97 2003. And the reason is you have better luck seeing some of the coding and draft if you have it saved also as a lower version. So before we go any further, I'm going to go from print layout to the draft view, because there it is easier to see what's happening. So looking at step 1, we have a document open. Step 2 says to make some of the desktop, and that's this sentence right here. Excuse me. It says to make that go to a new page, same section. You can either go Control Enter or go to Page Layout, Breaks, and choose Page Break. And there's your page break right there. Step 3 says make design can be. So that's, I'm locating myself there. Make that the start of a new section and next page. So I'm going to Breaks, I'm going to Section Break, Next Page. And here's our code, Section Break, Next Page. See how it appears different from Page Break? And down here now it says we're in Section 2. If I were to click up here, it would say I'm in Section 1. Going to step 4, it says make analyze what makes. So that's this one right here. Analyze what makes. It says to make it a new page in the same section. So I could go Layout, Breaks, Page Break, or I can just go Control Enter, which is much easier. Going to step 5, it says take the time. So I'm going to locate there. Make it a new section, next page. So I'm going to go to Breaks, Section Break, Next Page. And then it says use landscape orientation on this section. So I'm in this section, I'm in Section 3, and it says to use landscape. So I'm going to go to Orientation and choose Landscape. And you can see it's got a longer typing area here than the portrait pages do. It also said to center the text vertically on page 3. So I'm in Section 3. So I'm in Section 3. I'm going to go in, I'm still in Page Layout. I'm going to the Launch button here on Page Setup. Going to the 3rd tab for Layout. Going to Vertical Alignment and saying Center. And clicking OK. Excuse me. In step 6, it says change the margins for Section 1. So I'm going to go Control Home. I'm now in Section 1. It says change the margins to 2 inches for the left and right margins. So I'm in Section 1. I'm going to go to Margins, Custom. Left is going to be 2. And the right is going to be 2. I'm going to click OK. Okay, notice that I have a 4.5-inch typing line now in this because I changed my margins. And it affected both of these pages because they're both Section 1. In Section 2, we're changing the margins to 1.5. So I'm going to click below the section break, next page. So if I click here, notice it says I'm in Section 2. So now I'm going to go back to Margins, Custom, Left, and that's going to be 1.5 for the left and 1.5 for the right, and click OK. And now in this one I have a 5.5-inch line now, looking up here at the horizontal ruler. In Section 3 it says to have 1.25 for the left and right margins. I'm going to click below the section break. This should be section 3. I'm going to go to margins, custom, and I'm going to change the left margin to 1.25. And the right margin to 1.25 and click OK. Now I'm ready for step 7. It says create a header for section 1, which has word processing at the left margin, the date at the center, and the page at the right margin. Keep the header from printing on the first page of the document. So the quick way to get there is Control Home. Now I'm in section 1. It says don't have a header on the first page. So if I go to Insert, Header, I like to go to Edit Header. It gives me more control. I'm going to say Different First Page. Now it says First Page Header of section 1. And we want this to be blank. So this is what page 1 will have no header. Going to next section will actually take us to page 2 of section 1. Now looking at your tabs, notice that you have a 4.5-inch line, so you need your center tab to be at 2.25 and your right tab to be at 4.5. So I'm going to click right by my insertion point. I'm going to right click and go Paragraph. To get to this dialog box and go to Tabs, I'm going to go to Clear All, and half of 4.5 is 2.25, and that's going to be my center tab. I'm going to set that, and I want to right tab at 4.5, so 4.5, right, set, OK. Now my tabs are where I want them to be. So I'm going to type word processing at the left margin. I'm going to hit the tab key, and it says to put the date at the center, so I'm going to go date and time. I'm going to choose this one because it takes less space. I'm not going to update it unless that's really what I wanted. Hit tab again, and then it says to put the page number at the right margin. So I'm going to type the word page followed by a space. Then I'm going to go to page number, current position, and I want a plain number. And because I'm on page 2, it'll show up as page 2 here. So that takes care of step 7. For step 8, it wants us to be in the second section. So I'm going to go to the next section. Now I'm in section 2. It says create a header which has design features at the left margin. Okay, so because we changed the margins for section 2, we have a bigger typing area. Went from 4.5 to 5.5. So we're going to be changing words here and changing the tabs. So before you do any changes, you need to turn this off by clicking Link to Previous, which turns it off. And then we're going to look at this 5.5-inch line. Now I'm going to click, I'm going to have my insertion point on the line, right click, go to Paragraph, go to Tabs, and I'm going to clear these old tabs. Now half of 5.5 is 2.75. That's our center tab. I'm going to set that. And we want to right tab at the right margin, 5.5, right, set, OK. And then it says also to change this to design features. Okay, so that takes care of step 8. Going to the third section here now is in step 9, so I'm going to advance to section 3 by clicking on next section. And this one is the landscape one, so goes a lot farther. It's a 9-inch or 8.5-inch typing line, actually. You can tell by looking up here. And it says to create a header which has layout and adjustments up here, and everything else is the same. So if you can't see same as previous, take your zoom down to you actually say same as previous, because remember this has to be turned off. So we're going to click on this and we're going to change the tabs. So we need to have a center tab at 4.25 and a right tab at 8.5. So I'm going to right click, font, excuse me, I got on the right one. So right click, paragraph I should have said, tabs, clear all, and then 4.25 is our center tab, so we'll set that, and 8.5 is our right tab, and I'll set that and click OK. And that adjusted these. Now I need to go in and select this and type in layout and adjustments. Okay, so now I'm ready for step 10. Create a footer which has your name at the left margin and the time in the center and CIS 136 at the right margin. Make the footer appear on all pages. So I'm going to go back all the way. I'm just going to keep clicking previous section till I get all the way back to page 1. And I can tell I'm on page 1 because it'll tell me in my status line that I'm on page 1 of 5. In here it'll say first page header. Now we want to go to the footer. So we're going to click here on go to footer. And I want you to look at your tabs. You have a 4.5-inch line and your center tab should be at 2.25 and your right tab should be at 4.5. So I'm going to where my insertion point is blinking. I'm going to right click and go to paragraph, tabs, clear all, and then 2.25 is my center tab. And set that, and 4 is my right tab, and I'm going to set that and click. Whoops, what have I got there? Two decimals that let me know something was wrong. 4.5, right, set, okay. And now they're within the ruler bar there. Okay, now what we're going to put in there is our name at the left margin, so I would have Ellen Reich. I'm going to tab, and we want the time in the center, so I'm going to go to date and time, and I'm going to put this time because it's nice and short. I'm not going to update it. I'm just going to click OK. Tab again, and then I'm going to put CIS 136 at the right margin. And looks like we've done everything there. We know our center and right tabs are all, well, let's see, are we really done? Let's take a look and see. Let's go to page 2 and see. Is it there? No. Okay, how about if I go back to here? Can I copy this? I'm just pointing to it now, right? I'm just coming out here and pointing and going Control C for copy. Going to the next section and Control V to paste. Well, we're kind of getting there, but if you click up here, do you see how it actually honored our tabs because we selected a paragraph? I'm going to hit delete because I actually, let's see if I can hit undo here. I get an extra return down here that I don't need, so I just need one line there in the footer. Okay, so now I have this here. Now I have it on page 2. Let's see what section 2 looks like on the next one. Okay, so if I'm on page 3 now, I'm on section 2. Looks okay, kind of, but if you look up here, the tabs are in the wrong spot. So we're going to have to adjust the tabs to a 5.5 inch line. So let's turn this off in the footer of section 2 by clicking on that. Right click, paragraph, tabs, clear all. Now half at 5.5 is 2.75. That's going to be our center tab. Set that. We want a right tab at the end of the line, which is 5.5. We're going to set that. Say OK. So now our tabs are good. Let's go to the next section. And these tabs need to be centered. This needs to be in the middle. This needs to be over at the right margin. So be sure you toggle off same as previous by clicking up here. If you right click and go into paragraph, tabs, clear all, think of what half of 8.5 is 4.25. So that'll be our center tab. And then we wanted to end at 8.5. And that's a right tab, and click set and OK. That looks good. And as we go back now to print layout view, I'm going to turn off show hide, but here's page 1. It's got a footer. Here's page 2 with a header and a footer. Here's page 3 with a different header now. It's got design features and a footer. Here's page 4. It's still part of section 2. And here's page 5, which is section 3 that we made landscape. And we told it to center vertically. That's why it's in the middle like it is. And our tabs are nice and square with the length of our line. So that concludes this demo.